Hi, I'm Toni Swinehart. I'm with MCP's Bullport Press, brought to you by Shelby State Bank and also House of Flavors Incorporated. Today, we are doing a Zoom chat with Vic Burwell. He is the president of the local Hall of Fame for Mason County. And we're just really happy that you could do this with us, Vic. Thank you so much. This is kind of uncharted territory for myself. And I know that a lot of people are getting used to talking like this now because of the COVID-19. But I would like to know, Vic, how did you get started with the Hall of Fame and what started the ball rolling with it and that type of thing?
Lloyd Wallace and I, who is a former Ludington Daily News sports editor, we had talked about the number of quality athletes from Mason County, and it's too bad we don't have our own sports Hall of Fame. And he thought that'd be a good idea, and I thought it'd be a good idea, and we were standing at center court at the Ludington-Scottville basketball game, and of course, as most ideas, nothing happened. And about 3 years later, I said to him at another basketball game, which was in Scottville, I said, we talked about that Sports Hall of Fame. We should really do something about that. And that was in 2004, in the fall of 2004. So he and I got together and we selected 15 members of the community from Scottville, Free Soil, Custer, Ludington, and Mason County that were heavily involved with sports, either as athletic directors, coaches, or former players, and some movers and shakers in the business community, such as Lee Shaner from Floorcraft, Tom Van Buren from West Shore Bank. And we had our first meeting and we just talked about putting something like this together, and Dr. Bill Anderson was there, and the next thing you know, 8 months later, we elected our first class, which is in June of 2005. And since then, in fact, this year will be our 16th class. So it was just a group of men and ladies that felt that it was important to never forget the sports heritage of the sports history of Mason County. And so, aligned with the philosophy of the historic White Pine Village is to preserve history, we wanted to preserve the sports legacy of Mason County. And so that was really what we wanted to do. We wanted to recognize and honor outstanding athletes and teams and contributors. And we also wanted to never forget what they did. And while maybe making 1,000, 1,300 points in a season or like a basketball career might not be earth-shattering to the whole world, but it certainly is important to our community to not forget people like that. So that was the gestation of that. Really, it's 17 years ago now.
Oh, wow. So, and then I know that originally you didn't even have a building where to really house that, did you?
Well, one of the individuals, the answer to that is yes and no. When we first got started, no, we didn't have one, and we debated. In fact, that was a hot topic. Some people wanted to have it at West Shore. Some people wanted to have it in the high schools. Other people wanted to have it downtown Ludington. There's a desire to put it out in Scottville at McPhail Field. And after a considerable amount of discussion, Ron Wood, who was on the group, who was the director of the Historical Society, said, we have a building at historic White Pine Village. And when we stopped and thought about it, we thought, well, gosh, if we're trying to preserve sports history, and what better place to have it than at historic White Pine Village, which is there for the purpose of remembering the historical heritage of our community. And so we opened up our first Hall of Fame out there in 2005, and it's been there ever since. But in 5 years ago, we decided to move it because we wanted to be downtown. We bought a building downtown, the bank. We had this great big, hairy, audacious go, a BHAG, as Jim Collins would say. And we consulted with a consultant that is really renowned in the area of sports venues. His name was Terry Healy. He flew in from Washington. We visited our Hall of Fame. He looked at it. We showed him the building that we bought. He said, this is really great. He came back with a proposal that was going to cost us over $2 million we said, oops, I don't think we can do that. And so we have since sold the building and entered into a very strong relationship with the Mason County Historical Society and Historic White Pine Village. And we are now in the process of taking the money that we obtained from selling that building downtown, and we're going to use that to reinvest into the Sports Hall of Fame at Historic White Pine Village. And it's going to be an amazing venue that's going to focus on the value of sports and the importance of sports that sports plays in our community and our lives.
Yes. And I think is wonderful, because I don't think a lot of people, when you go out, it also attracts a lot of people to go out to White Pine Village too. So that they get a little bit more of how our community, works. And it also brings in a little bit more attention to that specific place as well. My mom is Cheryl Swinehart, and she's been involved with it for many, many years.
Right.
And I've actually helped her quite a few times prepare for it and get the centerpieces ready, and Christmas also.
Right.
So it's really exciting to see she's now on the board. My mother is, and to see the progression of it actually. And I think it's also really cool how you guys do the younger kids too. Each year you pick a younger kid. Explain that a little bit and how that came about.
Okay. When we put our Hall of Fame together, we really wanted to recognize outstanding athletes. We wanted to enshrine those individuals, but we also wanted to create an awareness of the young people and to reward and recognize those individuals that epitomize what you feel, not you, but all of us feel, represents the kind of athlete you'd like to see. One with not only athletic skills, but one with scholastic ability, one with community support, one with academic achievement, and one with, I've already said community support, and one that is what we think epitomizes what you'd like to see in a quality athlete. So each year we elect a male and female high school athlete of the year. And while they're not inducted into the Hall of Fame, they're recognized by the Hall of Fame for their athletic achievement, their scholastic achievement, and their citizenship achievement. And we recognize them at that. And that's been a really highlight of our event. In fact, it was so strongly accepted that the Muskegon Area Sports Hall of Fame decided to add a high school male and female athlete to their venues, and others throughout the state had seen us, and they're now recognizing them. And we give them a scholarship, and we also give them a plaque and other recognition. And they're really part of the banquet. They're part of the Hall of Fame. They have a plaque out there with their names on it. And we're really waiting for the first high school athlete to get inducted into the Mason County Sports Hall of Fame. And it's interesting in that one of the Loose girls, who now is running for one of the local colleges, she walked up to me after she was selected 2 years ago, and she says, I'm going to be the first high school athlete to be in the Hall of Fame. So, so it does create some interest, and we're excited about what that does. And now that you raised that question, one of the new emphasis that we're doing is to recognize the importance that sports plays in education and the value beyond sports. And because it's the attributes that you learn by playing, such as leadership and work ethic and perseverance and dedication and respect and honor and teamwork, all of those things, those are the things that build a quality citizen for life, and or in marriage or in business. And so we are going to continue to emphasize the importance that youth play and the importance sports plays in bringing youth along and creating an atmosphere where they learn not just about winning and losing, but they learn about what do you need to do to be successful in sports that will transition you to a successful career, be it marriage, be it work, or be it just being a social community individual. We're really excited about that emphasis.
Right. And another thing that I've been an athlete my whole life as well. But it helps me as a parent sometimes to have a little bit more patience. I know that sounds a little odd sometimes, that you might think of being a parent related to being in high school sports or even sports in general, but it has, because it's like a team. You're a team, you're part of a team, depending on how many children you do have. And I think it also, like you said, helps the community, because once you've been in a sport, or even if it's an individual or a team sport, you kind of get that mentality of helping out the community, helping out at your job, helping out different places and different things. And I think that the Hall of Fame recognizing these young students, as well as the students over the years, has been just such a wonderful attribute to our community, to our county. And I think it's a wonderful thing. Is there anything else that you would like to add? Now, I know that normally, is it in May that
June, in June.
In June, okay.
Yeah, the last weekend in June is when our annual induction is.
Okay, and that's the weekend after Gus Macker, correct?
Usually, yes.
Okay, so at this point, do you know if you're still going to have the, should I say, the ceremony itself or the dinner?
That's a really good question, and we are very concerned about that. In fact, we are going to have a Zoom meeting in about 10 days. And I would say that we haven't made a decision yet, but we are certainly, in light of the seriousness of which things are, and the fact that people would have to be traveling, and now that the kind of shutdown is through the end of April, we are going to look at all of our options. And one of the options would be to continue. Another option would be to delay it for a year and induct it to the 2020 class into 2021. But we have not made a decision about that. But we will do whatever is going to be in the best interest of safety of all of the individuals that would be asked to go to a banquet. And we don't want to jeopardize anyone. And we know the importance of recognizing individuals, and so whatever we decide will be in the best interest of the community and those that are being asked to attend, and we will make that decision very soon.
Okay. Well, Vic, I really appreciate you doing this. It's kind of like I said, uncharted territory for myself, especially. And now with the order that they are not going to have school the rest of the year, so we all are experiencing a lot of different things in our lives. But even if it was delayed for a year, I believe that that's really important to still hold it and still have it and still recognize those people and continue on with it. And I really appreciate that you're taking into consideration our community and trying to keep everyone safe. So in order to wrap up our little Zoom meeting, I again appreciate you, Vic. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would just one closing comment, and that is, regardless of what happens with the event for the induction, we are going to have a grand opening of our new Beyond the Game, the Value of Sports. And we have an article that was been in the Mason County Press, and Rob has been so well to do that. You're going to see more emphasis, but we would encourage everybody. They're going to really enjoy the new exhibit and the new emphasis out at historic White Pine Village that will be opened up the last weekend of June, which is scheduled to be on the 27th, the day of the induction. And so we'll make an announcement on that later.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Toni.
All right. Have a good evening.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. And for more news, go to MasonCountyPress.com. Thank you so much, everyone, and we will see you next week.